Oh no, it's not. Oh, now that I have never seen one of these. Wow. Right, tonight I'm going to be looking at this box of records here. This box of records cost me £4 at a local car boot sale, and really has been living in my boot of my car for the last week because I genuinely haven't had anywhere to put it. My other bench, which I would normally use for this, has another box of records which I bought at a different car boot sale. Now, I have had a little look at these, not a lot. This pile here I have not looked in at all. These I selected out of another box. I know there's some good stuff in here, and when I say good stuff, I'm talking about labels. This is all about labels, really. I haven't looked at the music itself. So I'm going to go through and sort of do this mainly quickly on labels, or if there's anything interesting about the record. I'm not going to talk about every last record in every detail. So I'm going to start actually with these 10-inch records here. Let's put them over here. So first of all, well, not particularly interesting actually label wise, but it's a Peter Dawson, and that's probably why I bought that one. This one, well, immediately you can see what interested me about this. It's a single-sided record, and it's actually, let's put it out the box, or put it out the sleeve there. It's one of these sort of pink label, I forget what the shade is supposed to be called, but it's a gramophone concert record. It's La Regina de Sabo. It's sung by Caruso. Now that is quite an early record. It's single-sided. It's got a nice rim on it. If we have a look at the back, it says gramophone on there with the recording angel. So that's rather nice. Do like that. Just pop that away. This is a Zonophone the Twin. Kelly, I'm glad to see you back. This is Florrie Ford. I didn't realise that was a Florrie Ford. I just saw that it was a Zonophone, and there's something else by Florrie Ford on the other side. As I say, this is going to be quite quick. I'm not going to go into loads of details, or else this video would be massively long. This one, why did I get this one? This is a Peter Dawson, Rolling Down to Rio. A little bit later, this. Till the Sands of the Desert Grow Cold. Now you probably notice actually that the sleeves don't look particularly period, and they've all got sort of handwritten ballpoint labels. Well, not all of them, but certainly some of them do, and actually maybe some other sort of numbering system there. So not interesting dealer sleeves. Some collector has collected these together at some point in the past. Not back, I think, in the 1910s or 1920s. Probably sort of after the Second World War at some point. This is the Vicar of Bray. Now, why did I pick this one? Oh, this one says this record is listed in catalogue number 2, which contains records of unique and historical interest. And on the other side, Simon the Cellarer. Hopefully that's on camera shot there. So yes, that's a rather interesting record. I can't say I've seen that before, though I do have one other record which certainly has that sort of extra text on it. So that's probably why I bought that one. Yeah. Zonophone. Oh, that's quite heavy actually. That's another Mr. Peter Dawson, the Lowland Sea, and oh yeah, that's got quite a nice sort of extra label on it. That's a Harris Hucker, Station Road, Taunton. Gramophones and Grand Solo Needles, something like that. Can't say I've ever seen this sticker here before, but that's quite nice. There's loads of stuff like that out there. This one, another Zonophone record, Molly My Own, Mr. Peter Dawson again, another dealer label there. I can't read that actually. Let's flip it over. The Last Man, also Peter Dawson on that side. Yeah, I mean, if I could be bothered to read what the previous collector put on them, it would be fine. And then this one here, so that's interesting. That's a yellow label. I don't recognise that again. Talking in English, Why Caruso Recorded the Coat Song by Francis Alder and Wally Butterworth. I'm guessing that's rather later actually, because of the black and white nip of the dog and gramophone, and also actually it's Enrico Caruso on the other side singing the Coat Song. So I suspect that's a sort of special, nice little find for Caruso collectors. I think I did leave some Carusos behind. I do have quite a few. Well, I have some 10-inch Carusos. I don't collect Caruso particularly. So that was quite interesting. This one here, that might actually be, I don't know if that's a number or whether that was a price of £8. I mean, it could be £8, I suppose. But again, look, it's single-sided. I do like a nice single-sided label or single-sided record. I mean, that's another gramophone Recording Angel one there. Shall we turn it over and see what's actually on it? Because I don't know. Oh, this is pre-Nip of the Dog. This is a gramophone concert record. Now, it is possible to work out from the font or exactly what's written here how old it is. But it is Evening, Tchaikovsky or something like that. My ability to pronounce things is pretty bad. Sung by a couple of people in St. Petersburg. And so this will be pre-Russian Revolution. And I wonder where it's pressed. It might... They did press things in Russia, but I don't know if they pressed them in Russia quite this early. But anyway, that's rather interesting. And to be honest, I bought it because it's single-sided. Anything with single-sided stuff on it, I think, is or single-sided records is worth it for me. What else we got? This one here, another kind of yellow label, but with a coloured in dog. Enrico Caruso and Alma Gluck. So that's a great combination there. Two very famous people, and yeah, that's just Enrico Caruso on the back. Guessing that's a little bit later. The record just feels a little bit later. So anyway, there we go for those. And the last one on this stack, again, look, it's single-sided, but I can't actually see any sort of writing. So so what is this? Let's turn it around and have a look. And this is a Victor. This is I Hear a Thrush at Eve, John McCormack. $1 in USA. There we are. That's a single-sided Victor Talking Machine record. It's a backwing. It's a backwing record. So I think that's could be up into the 1920s. I think Victor did single-sided records for certain reasons a little bit later than HMV did. But I'm sure somebody out there will correct me and tell me the exact dates. So I'm going to start here now and just pull them out one by one. Now these I have not looked through at all. This is When the King Went Forth to War. Is that interesting? No, not particularly. Let's just put that there. It's a Columbia. Again, Alexander Kipnis. No, not very interesting to me. That's in Italian, so this is opera again. I think this is yeah, I mean, probably make more sense from that label there. These I think are correct. And yeah, Un Belle de Vedremo. Hopefully that's showing up there. Yeah, not very interesting. We're going to skip past these fairly interesting. Now, I'm not saying they're bad records. I'm just saying they're, from a label point of view, they're not particularly interesting. Again, I'm not going to even read this out because I want to get through these quite quickly. If there's anything here that you think I'm skipping over and I really should be paying attention to, then do let me know. Let me know in the comments. In fact, any sort of comment, be very interested to hear what you think. So this is Faust, this is the Parlophone, Prison Scene Act 5. Oh well, I suppose to be honest, for me the most interesting thing about this is it says BBC Recorded Programmes Library there, so that sleeve is a nice sleeve. The record, can't see any particular reason to hang on to that record. We have another Parlophone here. Yeah, this is all a bit later, I think. And let's pull the record out. Let's see. Yeah, it's got a run out groove. Get that on camera. So it's got a run out groove there. It's quite thick still, but yeah, not an early record. I don't think Parlophones were particularly early, to be honest. Another Columbia here. Yeah, quite late. Not particularly interested in this one. Nothing very interesting about it that I can see. Goes on the pile. We have a red label Decca. Again, not particularly interesting. As I say, I know there are some very interesting records in here. I was hoping that maybe in this pile there would be two, but so far not particularly. Here we have again, yeah, pianoforte solo. I'm not going to read it all out. I mean, it's going to be there. If you want to see it, it's going to be there. And on the other side, Minuet in G major. Yeah, right, on the pile. Keep moving. This one's in French with harpsichord. I suppose that makes it a little bit more interesting. The black and white Nip of the Dog and gramophone does tell me, though, it's sort of later on. I mean, it's Second World War or even after Second World War. It's something like that. This one, Madame Butterfly. One Fine Day, Miss Rosanna Buckman. Now this I will keep. This is a relatively early record with a label like that, and on the other side, is it La Boheme? They Call Me Mimi. Also Madame Butterfly, I should think. Well, or maybe not. I don't know Madame Butterfly. I've never seen it. But anyway, that's quite a nice label. And you may not agree with my policy on collecting labels, but as I think I've said, well, I have definitely said in other videos, I do like the records as physical items. So this is Dame Clara Butt, quite a late record or late pressing, but I will probably hold on to it purely because it's Dame Clara Butt and she was quite famous. So I might stick that on that pile. Maybe we'll have that as a sort of keep pile until I forget. This one here, this is another early, early-ish Columbia. Yeah, flip that over. Oh, that's a single-sided Columbia. I hadn't noticed that. Right, now this is worth pulling out. Now this is a single-sided 12-inch Columbia. Definitely worth keeping. Magic Notes trademark Columbia Records. I don't think I have any single-sided Columbia. Certainly not a 12-inch single-sided Columbia. So there we go. Definitely worth hanging on to that. And again, you may think I'm foolish worrying about single-sided records. I mean, why store records which are only have half the music on, when I could be storing ones which have two sides, and single-sided records are also generally going to be early acoustic recordings. I just like the records. I just like early stuff like this. Now this is rather later. Anything particularly of interest? Something I need to watch out for on records actually is that they're not always made in England. This one is. I have a few records which I've kept because they're made in India or made in Australia or made in New Zealand. Okay, next one out. No, not really me. I think you get the idea of the sort of style of music that the previous owner of these records liked. And again, this one here, this, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce what's on this record. Duet in German with orchestra, sort of I mean, based on the label, I'm going to say 1920s, 1930s. I mean, there's a run out groove. I mean, they're in very nice condition. Look at the shine on that. But not particularly interesting. Another Columbia here. Now, based on the label, I don't think this can be single-sided. This is God Shall Wipe Away All Tears from the Light of the World, Dame Clara Butt. I think I might have this one on 12-inch, actually. And Abide With Me, yeah, I think I have that. Which I think I bought recently at a car boot sale for 50p. Or £half if you don't know what 50p is. But I would keep that. Nice Dame Clara Butt. Can't go wrong with that. There are quite a few records in this box. Let's crack on. This one here. Most interesting thing on this one, I think, is probably that it says 10. Is that 10 shillings there? I think. Whether that's a price, it could easily be a price. I mean, that's 10 shillings is. I mean, there are 20 shillings to the pound. So that's £half. Now, I would pay £half now for a record and not worry about it. But back in the day, that was a lot of money. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Let's stick that one on that pile, I think, for the minute. Another Columbia here. Later Columbia, made in England, quite clearly there. Nothing particularly interesting from my point of view. John McCormack, he was pretty famous. In fact, I think most people on these records were pretty famous. Nirvana and Like Stars Above, that's probably worth keeping. This one's in French with orchestra. I mean, it might be worth having, but I'm going to stick it on that pile for the minute. This is Decca, the Flying Dutchman. Not particularly interesting. I mean, the Decca label, yeah, it's quite a nice label. I think I've got a few of these light coloured Deccas like this. Columbia, The Lord is a Man of War, duet with orchestra. Yeah, not particularly interesting, I don't think. And that one there, that doesn't really interest me either. We would put that label in view, maybe you can see that more clearly. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice enough record, but doesn't particularly interest me. Right, yeah, let's crack on. So again, another one of these ones with the black and white nip of the dog. So it's quite late on. I mean, these would have been expensive records when they were new. I mean, this is the sort of sad thing about this stuff is musicians were actually paid more to record proper music than they were to record popular music, and yet proper music like this was actually cost a lot more money than popular music, and yet now proper music like this is the sort of 78s, which people find very difficult to sell, which I think is why the dealer was quite happy to offload all this on me for not very much money. So yeah, so I'm not saying I won't keep any of this, but I have quite a bit of this sort of stuff already, and really after the interesting different records. So I'm just quickly showing them. As I said, it's not going to be a look at every record in detail. It's only really if the records are of interest to me. Yeah, Lawrence Tibbett, I recognise his name. He did do some kind of popular stuff. I personally find him quite difficult to listen to. There's a Columbia next. Any good, this Columbia? It's quite, well, not late, but it's not early either. It's nothing particularly of interest. I mean, it has an interesting, hopefully that's in shot there, I've Columbia tax sticker of some description. I've never seen one like that before, so that's kind of vaguely interesting. Maybe we'll stick that on that pile. Now this looks a rather old His Master's Voice, old enough to be interesting, not particularly. Yeah, I mean it's nice, but put it on there. This one's kind of a bit similar. Okay. Oops, nearly lost it then. These are quite late, so the labels, I thought they might be slightly interesting, but they're not. They're just late labels. Are they made anywhere different? Is there anything? Made in, actually says made in England in the middle there. So no, again, not particularly interesting. Another similar one there as well. Flip that over. Okay, yeah, nope, stick it on the pile, move on. Now, if you're enjoying this video, then please do give it a like so that I know and that YouTube knows too. That'd be great, thank you. Okay, and another one there, again, lots of opera here, but nothing particularly of interest. I'm still hopeful, still some more on this pile. So what do we got here? Yes, another one. Oh, do hope to get something a little bit more interesting mixed in here. Sure, there's going to be something. I mean, there's definitely going to be something, because I say the ones at the end I did have a quick look through, and there's definitely good stuff in there. But these are not particularly interesting. I mean, I'll probably go through them again and maybe look them up or check. Oh, this is The Marriage of Figaro. I suppose that's at least well known. I mean, well known to me, or known to me. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Put it on the pile. This is another Marriage of Figaro here. Different bit of it. And the Magic Flute, that's quite famous. I mean, I suppose we might have that one. Now here, Don Juan's Serenade. Again, not particularly interesting. To the Forest, Dennis Noble. I have heard of Dennis Noble, I think. Again, very nice condition record. Well, what do you know? Something a bit different. Wasn't expecting this. Now, I don't even know what this is. Let's have a look. This says gramophone. Get it in camera shot. Yeah. Double-sided gramophone record with Nipper the dog. But I think it might be a German one. Let's have a look. I'm going to just put it out and have a quick look. Made in Germany. So I don't think it's quite as early as I first thought when I pulled it out the box, because it does look like really quite an early label. Now I understand that I think it was the German branch of the gramophone company became a separate entity after the First World War and actually released stuff separately. And this may well be one of their products. I don't know, but it is kind of curious that it has the nip of the dog and it says gramophone on it like so. So I don't know what's on there, but I'm certainly going to keep that record. That is worth having. Right, so there's another one here. Not particularly interesting to me. But there we go, you should be able to read it. This is Aida, I think. Actually, there's a date on that one, 1943. And that says made in Italy. Anno 1943. Ah, that's interesting. I haven't been looking to see if anything's been made in Italy. That's worth having. So that's actually 1943. Disco Grammofono, made in Italy. So so the UK was at war with Italy in 1943. So quite when this was actually made, and whether this is a wartime product made whilst the UK and Italy were at war, or whether it was made afterwards from a recording that happened to be made in 1943, who knows? But we'll certainly stick that on the pile. Yeah, I mean, it's like La Voice de Padrone. I can't speak Italian, I'm sure you are quite aware. So I kind of need to just make sure. I don't think there were any others of those. Right, what else we got? Well, here we go. I mean, yet again, we have a gramophone record. This one is blue, not black. That's rather nice. I mean, again, it's all about the label for me. I do like a nice interesting label. That's definitely worth hanging on to and looking up as well. So there we go. Hopefully you can see that okay. Stick that on that pile there. And then here we have another not desperately interesting. This is made in England. Yeah, okay. Not seeing anything particularly interesting on that one. Now you're talking. Get right almost to the bottom of the box, and what have we got here? I mean, I don't know, because I can only see the back. Look at that. That is a single-sided gramophone record. I can see the recording angel in there. I don't know if you can. And oh, it's a nice thick record. Oh, that's good. I like that. Put it out. Oh, it's been in that sleeve a while. Let's take this carefully. Right. Oh, I think it's actually stuck to the sleeve. Now, I haven't got as many cameras. Well, I have. I've got two cameras running, which is what I normally do. but as one is down here looking at the box, I've only got one on the bench. So I'm not sure I'm going to put this back in. So there we are. That's rather nice. And I'm sure you're all saying, turn it over, turn it over. Well, okay, let's turn it over. Let's see what we've got. And there we have. So, I mean, that's Samson and Delilah, I'm pretty sure, but in French. Yeah, and it actually says French. It says the Gramophone Company Limited, Hayes, Middlesex. It's his master's voice, Nipper the dog. So it's quite late for a single, well, quite late for a single-sided record. It's going to be, I don't know, 1909, 1910, sort of there, maybe a little bit later, probably not any earlier, but that's definitely able to look that up. Now that's a nice find. I mean, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? It's got a nice rim and everything. It's great. Right, stick you there. And last one here. Yeah, so this is again another one of these ones which yeah, Dennis Noble with the Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra. Yon Assassin is my equal. Yeah, it's got a bit of sort of light spotting on the other side which we clean off, but not very interesting to me. Now I think before I go any further, I'm just going to remove some of these. These records are quite heavy actually. I think in a previous video I worked out that 3 early single-sided records was about 1 kilogram, or getting on for 1 kilogram, 900 grams or so. So these records, although they're a bit later, they are bigger. So there's quite a few kilograms worth of stuff here. Right, that'll do. Let's pull the next record out. So we're on to the standing up ones here. Yep, that's not particularly interesting to me. So have a quick look at both sides, and I think move swiftly on. Not sure how long this video is going to be, but I can see how long the camera's been running, and they've been running for quite a while. Lucia de Lammermoor is, I think, the name of the opera, if I'm correct. Yeah, not desperately interesting. This one again, like, it's single-sided. I can tell that's single-sided. Now it does actually look like it might be cracked. Doesn't have the weight. It's not as heavy. It's not as heavy as this one here. But let's pull it out. I mean, even if it's cracked. I mean, to be honest, single-sided records, even if they're cracked or chipped, I do keep them. So this is a gramophone with a recording angel. We see that there. Hopefully the lights aren't too much in the way. And then if we turn it over, so this is a Caruso. So this is a paper label. Well, I say paper label. This is a yellow label is what I meant to say. Caruso and Gogurza, Spanish tenor and baritone with orchestra. And this I think is probably rather late, even though it's single-sided. So I'll have to look that one up. I'm sure it won't be difficult to date that record. So it does have a little bit of crack in the middle, but it would still play just fine. Well, what do you know? Another single-sided record here. And I'm not seeing the recording angel on the back there, so this could well be a Victor rather than a HMV. So let's turn it over. What have we got? We've got a Victrola record. Now, if you're in America, you've probably seen loads of these. I think these are Victor Red Label or Red Seal, something like that. This is an Enrico Caruso. Victor Talking Machine Company, Camden, New Jersey. I don't think I've got one of these. Not a single-sided one anyway. So for me, that's really quite a find. So very happy to have that. I see we've got a small spider running around on the sleeve. Maybe we'll try and remove him. What else? We got yet another single-sided, and again this is going to be a Victor. Again, I mean that label doesn't look like it's oops, get it in camera shot. Where is it? Not looking at the right camera there. That label doesn't look as old as it is, but it's a Victor Batwing. It's probably 1920s, maybe a little bit earlier. So again, very nice. Single-sided, definitely add that to my collection. Here we go. It's another single-sided again. This is going to be a Victrola record. This is again, it's another Caruso. Dare I take it out? Yeah, I think we're probably okay there. So yeah, not going to attempt to read that out, but yeah, as I say, if you're in America you probably see these quite regularly. I do not see them in this country. Now, although I had a quick look through these records on this end here, I didn't look through all of them. I just looked through enough of them to realise that when the dealer said I could have the whole lot, including the plastic crate, for £3, which was a cup of coffee, I thought it was worth having. And then I picked the 10-inch ones out of another crate, and they were £1. And there we are. Look at that. That's a Gramophone Monarch record. I mean, the label's a little bit worn, but I mean, we're talking about Edwardian. When I say Edwardian record, probably this is pre Nip of the Dog. What's it? La Africana. Have to look that up. Enrico Caruso. As I say, I didn't look at what was on these records at all. I merely looked to see if they looked like they might be interesting. And there we have, there is a gramophone back with the recording angel. So I mean, very nice record. And it's a Caruso again. Clearly Caruso was something that this previous collector was very interested in. Next one we got here, this is not so interesting. This yeah, so I think we'll skip over that one fairly rapidly. This one here as well, variations on Mozart's something or other. Again, not particularly interesting to me, so I think we'll skip over that. Some more Madame Butterfly. They Call Me Mimi. I mean, this is going to be a different version from the one that I saw earlier. Put that on that pile. Again, a late Master's Voice, because we've got the black and white Nip of the Dog, and also it's just not very heavy compared to the earlier ones. Yeah. In Russian with orchestra. Who knows? Put it on that pile. This looks a little bit more promising, but it's double-sided. It's not. It's Handel's Messiah, or bits of. It's very nice condition. Heavy, relatively early record. Might keep that one. This one here, late, not particularly interesting. It's a Caruso. I mean, it is a Caruso. I suppose I'll go on then, stick it on the stack. It's a Caruso. Yeah. Again in Russian with orchestra. The Columbia, Ben Davis, Drink to Me Only With Thine Eyes, and I'll Sing You the Songs of Araby, Speed 80. So it's not the label's not the earliest Columbia, but then it's also not that late because they're still showing speeds of 80 rather than 78. So I think that's before HMV and Columbia got together as part of EMI. Yeah, stick that on that pile. Yeah, again, not desperately interesting. Yeah, I wonder if we're going to end on a... Are we going to end on a high or a low? We got a few records here. I mean, I've done videos with about that number of records before. So, right, this one. This is... Yeah. Again, relatively old record. Not particularly interesting. Put it there. This label doesn't look very interesting. Choir of the Temple Church, London. Yeah, I think we can probably do without that. Duet in Italian. Get that in shot there. Hopefully I'm holding these long enough, so if you really do want to read them, you can at least pause it. In Russian with church, choir and organ, but it's one of the later grey labels. I'm probably going to have to go through and check that there are, as I say, there isn't anything fancy, there isn't anything made in another country, but I think by and large these are fairly standard UK made His Master's Voice records. So again, it's Elizabeth Schumann, sounds vaguely familiar. Violin. Oh yeah, so there is a violin something by M. Hayward. Yeah, I think if it was actually a violin solo, I might be interested. What have we got here? Well, looks promising. Single-sided again. It's going to be a Victrola record, I should think. Let's flip it over. Oh no, it's not. Oh, now that I have never seen one of these. Wow. Now, I don't know what to say. Where to start? Well, I mean, it does say made in Germany there. Made in Germany, admittedly it's in English that it says made in Germany, but it does say made in Germany there. It has this very, I say it's had a run out groove. I mean, you know, it's ploughed into the label there and done a fair bit of damage to the label. It says, what's it, Schallplatte gramophone. So that's going to be gramophone record. It's got His Master's Voice. Sorry, it hasn't got His Master's Voice. It's got Nip of the Dog and the gramophone on. It's single-sided. Now that, I don't know how old that is. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that is unexpected. A single-sided German record with Nip of the Dog on. Gonna have to look that up. Now that's a really nice find for me. Do like that. I mean, what's on it? I mean, who knows? I mean, do I even care what's on it really? Not hugely. I don't collect these sort of records for what's on them. Don't get me wrong, I've got lots of 10-inch, 20s and 30s records with popular music, even 8-inch and 9-inch records as well, which are fantastic tunes for listening to. This isn't about listening for me. This is about objects. This is about historical objects. I mean, here we go. I mean, you know, another single-sided one. What's it going to be? It's like Christmas. Is this going to be another one of these German records, or is it going to be an American Victrola one? I don't know. Let's turn it around and see. It's another German record. Let's have a look. Let's put it out. And it does have that same weird sort of like really steep run out groove. It says made in Germany. I mean, it's single-sided. I mean, it's weird. It's got some old features. I mean, old features like the thickness, the heaviness, the rim, this weird run-out groove, which I have seen. I think I've got something like a jumbo record or something from about 1915 that's got this sort of thing on it. But the label kind of makes me feel it might be a little bit later. I really don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. So yeah. I mean, I don't think it can be that old. I mean, you know, did I say there was anything on the back? No, the back is completely blank, which I know was something Victor did, but in the UK, the likes of HMV and Zonophone, and for that matter, that Columbia that I showed earlier, they did tend to put things on the back fairly early on. I mean, it's just good advertising. So anyway, so that's there, and I can already tell here, I mean, this is another single-sided record, but this, I can tell, has got the recording angel, but it's heavy. It's a heavy record, and heavy means early, and early means good. Turn it round. I mean, oh, there we are, Enrico Caruso. Now, it says his master's voice. It's actually got some writing in, I mean, I don't know if you call it a dead wax in the wax there. There's actually some writing that's been marked in there. When it was recorded, which has come through on the pressing. I think we'll have to get this one out. Oh, it's a big heavy record, that. Now, it does not have the rim. It's going to be slightly later. I mean, it's got his master's voice. Interestingly enough, it has a black and white nip of the dog. Now, I always thought that if the picture was black and white up here, it was quite late on, but I don't think this is quite late on. I think this is early. Although these lines here on the label, I think these came in after a certain time. I think they came in as opposed to went out. So this may not be quite as early as it initially looks. It might be a slightly later pressing of an earlier record, but that's just speculation on my part. So another fantastic find. And then what we've been waiting for, the last one in the box, and it is a Caruso. It's not a particularly interesting record, but it's a Caruso, so we will stick it on the good pile. So there we are. That is the box gone. It's all gone. Goodness knows how many records were there. I didn't count. I could go back and count in the video, but I probably won't. What do you think? Is my keep pile a good pile? Is my my discard pile a bad pile? Is there anything that you switch around? Anything you want to leave me a comment about? That'd be brilliant. Well, thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, then you'll probably like this one too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.